Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we are returning to Rule the Waves 3, a new strategy and tactical war game out by Slytherin and Matrix Games, developed by Naval Warfare Simulations. And in this game you take on the role of a naval secretary, designing and managing fleets and then fighting them in wars. We are playing as Italy. This is episode number 5 of our Let's Play series, and we are at war with the French right now. As you can see up here on the upper right, this bar graph represents the fact that we're at war. Tensions with Austria-Hungary are a little bit high as well, so that's to be concerning. And we're losing this war right now. The enemy has 20,000 victory points to our 13,000, but it feels like most of that is due to the fact that the French have had us blockaded for the last, I don't know, 6 to 10 months, maybe more, and you get points for every single month that you are blockading the enemy. Now, the blockade is not being held up by capital ships. We actually have twice as many battleships in service as the French. We have 2 more armored cruisers, although their tonnage is greater on their armored cruisers. And we have more corvettes, or we did. But now the French have more than double our light cruisers. We're building 6 of them, but that's, I think, what's holding up their blockade at the moment. To that end, I'm going to go ahead and bring a considerable number of my cruisers out of trade protection and putting them into active fleet, which will hopefully, maybe, break the blockade. I believe also I saw something in the designer notes of the most recent, or at least a patch that they're working on, that there was some kind of blockade calculation bug. So maybe that's also what we're running into. I'm not sure. We also have ships under construction. We are in the process of building 2 THG-class battleships of 13,000 tons. And then we have those 6 Kushin-class light cruisers. All of those are more than a year out from completion, though, so that's unfortunate. To say the least. It's unfortunate that we're so far away from having, more ships to throw at the enemy. Have we designed I can't remember if we designed a armored cruiser class. I believe we did. It was the Palestro class, which I think are pretty good ships. The French have pretty well designed and fast ships, I've noticed so far. But the Palestro class 1890 design, I want to say that's the, if I go to ship, no, that's not what I wanted to do. If I go to the different designs of ships and we go to the armored cruisers, we've got the Anconia, which we started with, I believe. Well, they're all 1890 designs because we've only just recently started. But I think the Palestro is what we built. What's the Anconia look like again? Is that I can't remember if that's one of the garbage ones. Yeah, that's a garbage one. All right, so I guess we're going to do this. We're going to build a couple more Palestros because we do have $4.7 million of a surplus right now. So even though the ships are going to be a ways away from completion, I am going to go ahead and build a couple more ships. So let's build just a few more armored cruisers of the Palestro class. Let's say 2 of them. And then let's also build a few more of those Kushin class light cruisers, because that seems to be where we are most behind of the enemy. The Kushin class, I think, is a decent design. At least I hope it is. Let's build 4 of those things. So we're going to build 4 more Kushins. We're going to build 2 armored cruisers of the Palestro class. You can see that kind of puts our budget. All right, was I looking at the funds before and not the monthly balance? Yeah, maybe that was dumb, because our funds are 4.7, but our monthly balance is -7, and nothing is going to be done anytime soon. So that's, oops. All right. Let's do this. Let's halt these 3 that are stuck at 17 months, and we'll halt the 19-month battleship. And I guess the 15-month armored cruiser. We can try and get everything into like shape all at once, I suppose. So let's go ahead and move forward 1 month. We've got a convoy attack. It's off Western Africa. I don't know that I have any ships there. We estimate the enemy has 3 armored cruisers and 6 light cruisers. We have 1 armored cruiser and 1 light cruiser in this region. I don't know if this is, I don't know. I guess we'll see. We'll see what comes of this. Our objective is to sink 6 enemy transports to obtain a victory. Do I really just have the 1 light cruiser? Yes, I've got the 1 light cruiser, the doggy little, it is of the Tripoli class, 4,100 tons. She can make up to 22 knots, 2 5-inch guns, 10 threes and 8 twos. Okay, she's been in a lot of battles too. He's a sportsman. The commander is a sportsman, a poor ship handler, but an above average officer. But he's a sportsman. I don't really know what that means for the game, but okay. No sign of anything yet. Is this target where the enemy convoys are supposed to be? Because so far, nothing. Oh, there we go. Enemy ships spotted. A whole bunch of them. I'm hoping these are all transports. Let's slow this down to slow. We'll turn into the enemy formation here. 3 columns of ships. Increase speed to 16 knots. These are all transports based on the initial sighting here. They're going to probably run. This is an AMC, so I don't know what that means in terms of what it might have to shoot against us, but I assume some of these guys may be armed merchants. And then we've got 3 other ships up here, which might be warships, judging by the fact that it's a smaller task force here. It's claiming at least 1 destroyer and a light cruiser of the enemy. They're shooting at me. Broadside on with the enemy. The armed merchant cruiser is actually a transport. So they've got 2 light cruisers and a destroyer. I need to sink 6 enemy ships. We hit one of them with a torpedo. That's nice. Hopefully without losing too much damage or taking too much damage on my end. I'd rather not engage the enemy task force if I don't have to. We're making 18 knots because we'll have more accurate gunnery at a slower than max speed. Trying to pick off. You can see we really savage this 1 column of the enemy. The enemy's still a ways off. But multiple enemy ships here. 2 of them have sunk. Multiple of them are dead in the water. It's actually 3 enemy light cruisers. That's great. I just need to get 6 and then I can run. Do we know what their max speeds are? If I hit pause. So this guy makes 22 knots. That's equal to us. He has 10 6-inch guns. Jesus Christ. These French ships pack a frickin' punch. 10 6-inchers and I've only got 2 5s. I've got good light batteries, but that's about it. Have I taken any damage yet? A little bit. We've taken no hits here, but we have a little bit of structure damage. Huh. Interesting. That is a lot of shell fire that's incoming. Let's turn away from them. So we've got 3 enemy ships sunk so far. Speed up to max speed, 20 knots. As I turn away from them, I'm going to try and finish off this transport here. It's dead in the water, so hopefully that means it's finished. Oh, man. Broadside on the rear of my ship. All right, so we sank 6 enemy transports. That's good news. The objective is accomplished. So now at this point we could run, although it looks like my max speed is down to 20 because the enemy is hitting me hard. It is 8 in the morning, so the likelihood of the sun going down anytime soon is not high. We may get a couple more transports, but I'm worried I'm going to sink. I'm down to 18 knots. I've got this small merchant dead in the water. The enemy merchant or the enemy light cruisers are far away. So I don't have anywhere to run to, do I? There's no Italian colonies. So the enemy merchants or the enemy light cruisers are sticking to the south. I don't know why they're not pursuing me to finish me off, but it looks like we've got 3 here, 6, 7 enemy merchants, 8 now. An 8th one sank. And we're running. So let's get out of here, boys. Let's speed this up. And they're not even trying to pursue. Interesting. All right, let's slow down. I don't know. I don't think I have too much damage. Obviously, our engine room is damaged somewhat. Some structure damage, flood damage, 2 medium hits, which means 6-inch shell hits. We scored 23 hits with our 5-inch guns out of 119 rounds fired. That's a pretty good accuracy rate, although I'm guessing most of those were on the enemy transports. We were very low on ammunition here, you can see. Only like 60 rounds in some of those guns. We're just going to try and run away now. And if the enemy's going to let me, I'm content to have him let me. All right, there you go. Italian victory. We sank 8 enemy merchant ships out of 15. Didn't really damage any of their ships and took light damage to one of our light cruisers. So that is definitely a victory for us. I guess their other ships remained back here to pick up survivors. So that's a pretty considerable victory. The enemy still gets 400 victory points. I'm not sure why. We get 500, so we didn't gain as much as I would have liked. Examination of captured enemy munitions has helped our research in AP projectiles. Okay. That's good, I guess. No merchant warfare this turn other than the 8 ships we sank in the last battle. And Austria-Hungary has stolen some technology and ship design from us. I don't think I have advanced ship design there, so I'm not sure where that came from. Meanwhile, we've broken the blockade. I don't know if it's because I pulled some of those light cruisers off of trade protection, but you can see here that the blockade is lifted. There's no blockade warning here. I'm going to send one of these light cruisers back to trade protection because we have to have at least 2,000 tons of shipping doing that. So we'll put 3,000 tons here, or not trade protection, foreign station, sorry. So we get back to that. And we're negative 1.6 million, but we still have enough money to do that for another turn. Let's resume this so they're all at 15. Resume this so they're both at 19. I guess we can halt both of these. And resume these. And halt these. This is going to be the most Italian shipbuilding program ever. Stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. That was kind of a... That was something that the Italians kind of had going in this era. They didn't have the most reliable shipbuilding industry at times. They did have very good cruisers, though, but industrial policy shifted and moved around a lot. It wasn't that uncommon for a lot of countries in this era, actually. All right, so we've been at war for 16 months. Let's go ahead and move forward another turn, I guess. Convoy attack in the Med southwest of Sardinia. And it looks like the enemy might have up to 6 battleships, or 3 battleships, 6 armored cruisers, and 23 lights, 3 AMCs. We've got 6, 8, 9, and that's it. We don't want to give them 1,000 victory points if we decline the battle, so let's jump in and fight another battle. Maybe the war will turn. Maybe this is the start of some good news. So we have to sink 6 enemy transports. I don't know why we've got battleships out looking for enemy merchants. Where would they be? Presumably down by the French North African coast, I would guess. It's cloudy, so we don't have the best visibility at the moment. No enemy ships spotted yet. Let's speed up to... Why can I not speed these guys up? Why can't I speed these guys up? Are they not in my command? These guys can make more than 12 knots, right? Okay. Kind of confused here. It doesn't want to give me the option to speed these ships up. Not sure why. All right, looks like the weather might be changing. Maybe we'll get some visibility on some enemy ships. I don't love that I'm moving so slow. Oh, here we go. Maybe it was a sea state thing. I don't know. It said the merchant ships were... Oh, here we go. What's our objective to win this battle again? We got to sink 6 enemy transports. All right. This might be the enemy battle fleet and not their transports. I guess we'll see. It appears to be so. So we're just going to charge on in. We should have an advantage here. Looks like they've got 2 battleships. We also have 2 battleships. We've got multiple armored cruisers. So do they. Slow things down as we move in. Where the hell are the enemy merchants? The dumb thing is if I don't sink 6 transports, I think I lose the battle even if we sink the whole enemy fleet. All right, there's more ships spotted. So the enemy merchants are down here. So I suppose we could send our light cruisers down to go sink them. It goes the other way too, is if we charge into their merchant fleet. We could win even if we don't win per se. Their transports should be much slower than our battle fleet. Especially our cruisers. So we're just kind of charging back here. It does seem to be developing into a bit of a stern chase. The enemy running away from us while we charge south. Our formation is a little bit broken up. I should probably pause. Let's fix that. These guys are in a scout and a screen formation. Let's change it to line abreast, or actually line ahead. Change these guys to core. They are armored cruisers. We should have changed that a while ago. The light cruisers, we can go ahead and set these guys to screen. That's fine. And this guy set to screen. That's fine. Okay. All right, let's turn our battleships a little bit to the west and maybe get a broadside on the front of the enemy armored cruiser task force here. Meanwhile, our cruisers will keep charging forward here. Going right broadside to broadside with the battleships. We fired a torpedo but missed. So our cruisers are in the thick of it. But they're passing through the enemy cargo line, I guess. This is an absolute terrible formation on my part. No, your core. The enemy is definitely concentrating a fire in a way that we are not. But we might be able to knock out some of these merchant ships at least. How are our battleships doing here? No hits received, 9 rounds fired. 8 rounds fired, no hits received. We've scored 1 with our secondary battery. Armored cruiser can come from that direction. Let's go ahead and turn our battleships away. Go broadside to broadside. The one area I feel like our ships have had an advantage against the enemy is in battleships. Whenever we've gone toe-to-toe with their battleships, and I'm sure I'm jinxing this because I'm doing this now in the middle of a fight, but anytime we've gone toe-to-toe with their battleships, things have gone reasonably well for us. I'm going to turn away from that enemy light cruiser on the bottom corner of the map. Maybe we'll break the enemy line here, split between their 2 battleships. And the Francisco Morosino is hit by a torpedo. Is that mine? It is. Fuck. The Andrea Dora is being pummeled too. Well, I knew I shouldn't have said that. I knew I should not have said that our battleships fare well against the enemy. All right. Slow down. We've taken too much damage for top speeds. I need to get my light cruisers back out here. Maybe we can torpedo the enemy battleships and even things up a bit. We have sunk a number of enemy merchant ships with those cruisers that we sent forward here. Hopefully we get it up to 6. All right. I am kind of surprised how effective torpedoes are, especially capital ship torpedoes in this game. It seems like they always do a good job. All right, our light cruisers are coming back in here. Maybe we can get in on these enemy battleships. That's the one area we do have a considerable advantage in terms of total numbers of ships against the enemy. I'm resigned to almost certainly losing the first of the battleships in our squadron. All right, we sank the 6 enemy merchants, so technically I think this will be a victory no matter what, or at least darn close to it, although that's like one of those Pyrrhic situations. I don't know in any scenario where you would say losing a battleship is a victory for 6 merchant ships. One of my armored cruisers is hit by a torpedo too? I've fired off multiple torpedoes and haven't gotten a single hit, and they've gotten 2? At least one of their battleships is dead in the water. I suppose if we can get their battleship and we lose a battleship, that's a pretty considerable victory, or, you know, or at least not a defeat. But if we lose this armored cruiser also, then we'll have to get one of theirs. All right, the Brennus is dead in the water. I'm going to have my light cruisers go right by it. Hopefully they don't also get hit by torpedoes. My battleships are kind of out here on their own, which is fine. I don't really want them to engage too closely with the enemy. Ships are supposed to automatically dodge torpedoes for what it's worth. Okay. Fires are raging out of control. That's the battleship that was hit by a torpedo, so it's kind of to be expected. Bad things are happening on it. She's dead in the water. She's going to go down for sure. How's the Andrea-Dora doing? She's doing a little bit better. She hasn't taken a torpedo, so we'll go ahead and increase her speed just to make her a little bit less vulnerable. She's breaking away from the... or Sony, or however you pronounce it. All right, you speed up and get ahead of this guy and drop a torpedo in his path. I don't know if that light cruiser's dead in the water. So they actually have 2 battleships that have heavy damage according to this report. Maybe we can actually win this fight on balance. Okay. Brennus is dead in the water. This fight's spreading out a bit. He's making 15 knots. He can't be too badly damaged. All right, our armored cruiser's sinking. Light cruisers are running out of ammo. Can we defeat this enemy light cruiser squadron here with our own armored cruisers, maybe? No, it's out of my control. We're switching to AI control. Alright, so their battleship went down, so we got the enemy battleship, or one of them. We lost an armored cruiser. We're going to lose a battleship. The enemy has lost a battleship. We might lose the whole fleet, or at least a big chunk of it. Now it says medium damage on that enemy battleship. All right, our light cruisers are taking heavy damage too. Be great if I could sink this guy. Can I get this back, this division back in command? I can. I need some luck with torpedoes. All right, our battleship apparently had a turret out of action, but it is now back in commission, so that's good news. Let's get our armored cruisers up here to cross off the head of this enemy battleship. Alright, those ships to the north are... We're getting away from them, so we can't command them because the distance is too great. What time is it? 9 o'clock. Armored cruisers are going to cross in front of the battleship. No one shot any torpedoes, but we did get a couple of hits there. I saw a few hits. I don't know if they were large caliber hits or medium or small, but can we see here the Salerno? 2 medium hits received, 9 8-inch hits delivered. 8. So we don't know against what. Got another hit there. So our armored cruisers are going toe-to-toe with this battleship. And the battleship is smoking heavily. So she is suffering considerable damage. We'll slow down to increase our accuracy. What is her speed anyway? 10 knots, medium damage and on fire. Okay. Her own damage is not slight on the Sulfrino, 20%. Let's speed our battleship up. She's already suffered some heavy damage, I think. Well, not that bad. Some flooding. I'm ignoring the other ships to the north. I've assumed they're a lost cause. But the enemy ships to the north might come and try and get involved here. Slow down. Speed influences accuracy to a large degree. There's a torpedo in the water. Miss. Okay. If I can get 2 battleships, they'll be down to 1. Even if I lose one, I'll still have 5. Plus the convoy victory, that would be pretty considerable, although the armored cruiser was a loss. But and the lights as well. But the merchant's got to count for something. She's dead in the water. Okay. What are the other enemy ships doing? All right, our light cruisers over here are still alive. By the looks of it. Their armored cruisers are keeping their distance from the dead in the water battleship, but they're still in the general vicinity. Remember, they have a speed advantage over us, so we won't be able to chase them down if they don't want to fight. Why am I? Don't go so close. I don't think I've fought one of these. 4 12-inchers. This is a good class of ship. Okay, I think their armored cruisers are going to withdraw. All right, their battleship is done. So let's go ahead and speed things up and see if they want to fight. Ah. I wonder if that armored cruiser's taking damage and is too slow to escape. I don't know that I want to sail the Andrea Dora up here on its own. 1 heavy hit, 9 medium hits it's taken. She's fought in a lot of battles, so she should have an experienced crew, although so is the Jeanne d'Arc class, 6 8-inchers. They could machine gun us to death. But if I can get my other armoreds up here, we can see. Where are they going? Fuck, I can't command them. Okay. All right, we've got a little bit of a speed advantage. Let's slow down here. Take these guys over yet? I can. Okay. Squadron Max. Get up here. Come on. Sorry about that. The only way to capture this game is with desktop capture. All right. Get those other ships up here. Also, we're apparently like working our way back to what's left of the enemy convoy. I need you guys to be more accurate with your guns. A couple of main battery hits on this guy could do wonders. If I can get that armored cruiser back too, that could go a long way. It's begun raining. Line of sight's getting worse. But we're pretty close in on this guy. So we should be able to maintain sight on him, even if the sun goes down. It's only noon, but if we lose sight because of bad weather, we should still be able to hang in there. All right, our cruisers are now firing. You can see up here, Enduro pass-through hit, engine room hit, arc hit, arc hit. How's the Dora doing here? She's now taken 23 medium hits and has a considerable amount of flotation damage. Let's slow her down. Let's hope we don't lose another battleship. And I think now that I've gotten my other armored cruisers into this fight, I will pull my battleship away because she has taken hits. Can you guys fire a torpedo or something? The enemy has more guns than us, but per ship, but we've got 8 to 6 total. I think. Maybe it's not. Oh, I've only, yeah, no, it's 8 to 6. All right, light cruisers come in here. You guys can add your 5-inchers to the fray. Slow down to get more accurate. All right, she's dead in the water. I don't think we can afford to do much more fighting, but if we can finish off this armored cruiser and keep my other ships safe, that's all I want to do now. Torpedo out. And it either missed or was a dud. I'm not sure which. Despite the fact that the enemy wasn't moving. Can you go back in and finish this guy off? He's dead in the water, but he might not be sinking yet. Doesn't seem like he's shooting back, though, so that's good. I don't see any splashes indicating shells coming out. We're continuing to riddle the enemy with multiple hits here on these pass-throughs. Nothing coming back our way. Okay. All right, so that's out of line of sight. We'll speed things up now. I'm assuming this guy's going to sink. My light cruisers will retreat to rejoin. He's on fire and dead in the water. So let's hope he sinks. He did. All right, so we lost one battleship and one armored cruiser sunk. We also had one battleship heavily damaged. Hopefully she is not scuttled. 2 light cruisers heavily damaged. So the enemy gained 24,000 points for damage to us. But we sank 2 battleships and an armored cruiser, as well as 15 merchant ships. So we get 38,000 for damage to the enemy ships. We also met our objective, which was sink 6 enemy transports. So a considerable victory there. Should be a major victory, I would think it is. It's an Italian major victory. Gain 1 prestige, 3,500 victory points against 1,700 enemy. And so that will hopefully start to close the gap here in terms of the war. Parliament is authorizing additional naval budget, I guess. The Army wants resources to prepare an offensive and break the front. The Navy can get by with less. Give me a victory. French raiders sank 3 Italian merchants in the Mediterranean. It's the first time they've done merchant attacks there. So that's good. Our unrest level's 5, which is something we'll have to keep an eye on. It's not low, but it's not the highest I've ever seen. And if we go to the almanac here, we sank 2 more French battleships, so the enemy is down to 1 battleship. But they also have 4 battleships that are building. I guess the battleship tonnage includes building and commissioned battleships, which seems a strange way to count, but we will still have, even when all their battleships that are being built are complete, we will still have an advantage of 7 to 5 and 15,000 tons. But for the moment, they only have 1 battleship. They have 8 armored cruisers. They must have completed 1, despite the fact that we just sank 1. We have 9. We have none building. I think that's because 2 of ours are paused. And then 10 to 41. They have, oh, wait, I'm looking at the wrong country now. 9 to 8. I was right about that, but it's 10 to 24 in terms of light cruisers. The ones we're building will close the gap a little bit. But overall, feeling okay about the current situation in the war. Now, feeling much better than I was at the start of this episode in any event. And yeah. So we're still about a year out from any of these ships, a little bit more than a year out from any of these ships completing, between the ships that are on pause and the ships that are being constructed. Let's go ahead and halt construction on these. We are having uneven construction times on some of these guys. All right, so that gets me back into the positive. We'll go ahead and speed these up, or resume on these 2 ships. And these 4. No, I can't do that. All right, we'll leave the light cruisers paused. But we'll go ahead and get 1 more month out of the battleship, or the armored cruisers. And we'll pause these 2 light cruisers to get until we get these 3 at 16 all in line, so we can commission them all basically at once. Let's actually halt this one too. And yeah. I don't know. There's no real logic to the way I'm doing that, but it is what it is. We've got some ships being repaired this turn, but we are ready to move into October of 1893, at war for a year and a half now. So we've got another battle coming up, a coastal raid, large battle. I mean, we have to keep fighting these because I can't afford to give them 1,000 victory points by turning down any fights. So go ahead and fight our third battle of the episode. This one near Sicily. We've got a force of 4 armored cruisers and 3 lights. Objective, we don't have any objective. Just, I guess, to presumably stop an enemy coastal raid, of which I don't know where they are. Also, the sun just went down, so I don't even know what their objective is. Is it to, like, destroy a coastal battery? Let's turn the armored cruisers back, because if they are going to go after Messina, we want to make sure we're not just, you know, sitting way back. I don't know if we're going to fight here. No sign of the enemy. No log of any attacks, no reports of anything, no intelligence or anything like that. I've had a few battles like this where you jump in for no real reason, and then nothing happens. No indication the enemy's bombarding anything. And it's not a convoy raid, it's a coastal raid, so I suppose... Whoa, 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 whoa. Where? Where are these ships? All right, maybe they're a little bit further out to sea. Maybe they're attacking them. Looks like they may have sunk that merchant. They did. We've got no visibility on where they came from. They're shooting at me, but I can't see anything. Stupid overcast weather. All right, where's this next one? Oh, they're shooting at the installation over here. Okay. So I guess I was right. I was going in the right direction. Hopefully we can get there before they destroy it. I don't actually know how strong the batteries. Looks like they turned south. God, my visibility sucks. They're not shooting at the installation anymore. All right, we spotted an enemy ship. Let's slow things down. An enemy battle line. All right, boys, turn. Battle speed. Are they really battleships? They can't have. They don't even have this many battleships. They've got one, it looks like. So we appear to be outgunned. They've got at least 2 armored cruisers here, a bunch of lights, and then 1 battleship. All right, we've broken their formation up. They've got a light cruiser which looks almost like it's dead in the water. I don't know if maybe it took damage from the coastal battery here, but it is not moving quickly. The rest of the enemy formation turned away. So we're battering this light cruiser with our entire line of 4 CAs. We've got this other enemy ship pinned up here along the coast. So the one of their light cruisers is ablaze. I don't know if this is an armored cruiser. That would be nice if we could isolate one of their armored cruisers up along the coast. The light cruiser sure seems to be done for, though. She's not moving. Heavy damage and is on fire. Some of that damage had to have been done by the 6-inch guns on the coastal battery, because we did not engage them for long before it was dead in the water. Then again, light cruisers are not the strongest things in the world, so perhaps it was just a single or couple of 8-inch shell hits maybe in the engine rooms. I'm not sure. This one is moving a little bit, but we are getting regular hits on her. The enemy battle fleet, I feel like we were outgunned. The enemy battle fleet didn't seem to want to fight us. We broke them up, and the rest of the fleet has made for other waters. Weather's overcast now, so we've spotted the rest of the formation, which is up here now, so we'll see if they want to fight us now. But I think we've got 2 of their light cruisers defeated. Is the oh, that's a light cruiser, never mind. All right, she is smoking heavily. They're primarily focused, it seems like, on damaging the installation, which I guess is technically their objective. I think my objective is to defend it. I don't really technically have an objective, but I think to win it, they have to destroy that installation, which is at 72% damage. It has no guns, though. I would have thought it had guns, but apparently it does not. All right, they're both completely dead in the water. They got to be sinking. So let's go protect our coastal batteries here. Glad to sink 2 light cruisers. The enemy has way too many of them, but let's go get up here and see if we can defend the installation. The enemy's probably going to have to come back, at which point we can cross their T. How's our, by the way, how are our ships doing? What's the damage situation? A fair bit of damage on the Sulfurino. She's taken 12 medium hits, so that's not great. Second ship in the task force, no damage, no damage, no damage. Let's go ahead and can we divide? Can we split the Sulfurino out of this task force? Detach. Not sufficiently damaged to detach. Okay, well, it's got to be close. But I didn't know there was a rule that you've got to have a certain amount of damage to detach. Let's also go ahead and get these light cruisers back under my command. He suffered some damage, but I guess maybe not enough either. Get the light cruisers out here too. All right, that light cruiser sank. This one's still burning and alive. All right, the enemy's turning around. We're going to make him come through our line. Switch to line ahead. Slow down to 17 knots. We're firing at long range on these enemy armored cruisers. They're shooting at my light cruisers. Let's see if we can head them off. I was going to turn back on the installation, but it seems like we're heading out to sea, so. Three light hits. Okay. Maybe we cut in behind these guys and go for the second half of the enemy task force. Maybe we can isolate another segment here. Maybe our light cruisers can get some torpedoes in. Of course, closing range like this certainly means the enemy could get a torpedo hit in as well. Yeah, we hit an enemy armored cruiser with a torpedo. Hell yeah. Argodot, one of our light cruisers. I think we're going to lose the light cruiser, but I'll trade an armored cruiser for a light cruiser every day of the week. Not that I have that many armored cruisers to trade. But if we get two enemy light cruisers and an armored for one light cruiser, I would consider that well worth the trade. The Brux is dead in the water, heavy damage, on fire. All right, let's pause here. On fire, heavy damage. All right, let's go ahead and see if we can pull this ship back. So we'll detach. Send her down to Messina at 10 knots. That's the closest base, right? Yeah. I'm curious if the enemy wants to keep fighting, if they're going to lose an armored cruiser now out of this force. See if we can cross the T of the Dupit Tours. Or just go broadside to broadside with them. I don't know where their battleship went. Well, let's turn our force away. They want to pursue, they can come down and follow us. I'm happy if this battle ends right where it is now. So Frino's probably taken enough damage to withdraw now also. Yep. All right, let's go ahead and get her to AI control, or out of AI control, slow down to 10 knots. Get her down to Messina. Problem is, once they're out of my line of sight, I will not be able to tell them to go into port. So I don't know how far I can see, but it's not all the way down to Messina, that's for sure. Wonder if they're going further north, if there's any other installations they can raid. We're going to escort these guys and let's speed things up. I'm going to assume the Brux is going to sink at this point. Dead in the water for an extended period of time. A lot of shell hits in addition to the torpedo hit. Let's just shepherd these guys in. All right, there we go. So the enemy lost one armored cruiser sunk, two light cruisers sunk. We lost two auxiliaries. Definitely an Italian victory there. 14,000 points to enemy ships, 32 to ours, 3,200. 11,000 ship score, 15,000 to 3,200. The enemy did not destroy their bombardment target. They failed. They got to 70%, but they weren't able to finish it off. And we had two surviving merchantmen, so we get some bonuses there. So another victory, another major victory there. We don't get any prestige, but we do get another 1,000 victory points. The enemy gets 300, and we are closing the gap now. We researched better 9-inch guns, -1 quality. I'm okay with that. Oh, the enemy's blockading me again? So they get 280 victory points for that? Okay. So the blockade was lifted for, I think, a whole 2 months. The enemy still only has 1 battleship and 7 armored cruisers. We've got 2 more armored cruisers than them, and we've got 5 more battleships than them. But we're still being blockaded somehow. which gives them a free 200 victory points every turn, which sucks. All right. Okay, let's resume this. That. I'm trying to keep everything in perfect alignment for ships completing all at the same time. All right. So I would think it's close to a white piece at this point, but we'll see how things shape up. With that being said, guys, we've been going for almost an hour. We have 3 successful victories against the enemy, and in this episode, and we definitely closed the gap on the victory points from start to finish. We will see how this French war continues in the future. Until next time, however, this is the Historical Gamer once again saying thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I'm out.